Good morning and welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma and today we are meeting in the studio and we're going to be doing this more often because it's winter and it's cold and most of the time it's raining. It is really early, so it's still pretty dark outside and I'm ready to get my hands dirty in the morning. So we do have a good forecast over the next few days, but it's also a holiday weekend, so I don't know how much time I'll get to spend outdoors. I wanted to get my amaryllis plants and paperwhites all ready for the winter season. So I've been playing with amaryllis for a couple of years, and I'm still like honing in exactly how to do it correctly. And get them to bloom at a time that I want them to. They always tend to bloom in like January, February, which I'm just coming to embrace and appreciate, to have some fresh, beautiful winter flowers and not necessarily associate them with the winter solstice or Christmas. But that being said, it is time to get them out of dormancy and into some fresh potting soil. If you are an advanced amaryllis grower or you're like super into them and you want to grow them, with consistent results that I'm not ready to share with you because I just don't know, I highly recommend North Lawn Flower Farm. She's out of Pennsylvania and she is the Amaryllis Queen. Amazing amaryllis, so much success, so many beautiful flowers, and she does like all the steps: division, propagating. I think she even does like seed starting amaryllis. Don't quote me on that, but I'll link her YouTube below because just amazing information that she gives you. She also does a bunch of other really fun things too, so I love following her. Okay, so my amaryllis bulbs from last year, I let them, all their green foliage die back, and as soon as it died back, I took them into the garage, into a dark space, and let them go into dormancy. So I took them into the garage probably early August, by the time their leaves finally failed or, turned brown. And then they've been in the garage for a few months, and I took them out a couple of days ago. And now it's time to put them in fresh soil and see what they do. They tend to just, as soon as you give them some water and fresh soil, boom, they start throwing off or shooting up with some new green foliage. So that's pretty exciting. The Paperwhites take a little bit longer. So, so I'm just going to take them all out of their pots and then repot them. I'm going to start with my Paperwhites just to get them out of the way. They're a little smaller. I'm going to I have 5 in this terracotta pot and I have 3 off to the side because these were done in a different project. So I'm going to actually use these 2 silver containers this year and this one is an amaryllis that I'll repot in fresh soil. And I just kind of wanted to have this like little silver collection. So I'm going to do that. None of these have drainage. So you have to be careful when you're watering something with no drainage. They don't take very much water, so I'm not terribly worried about it. But you do have to be extra careful. The soil medium that I'm going to be using today, I have used orchid mix in the past. I just don't have any. And what I do have, this is my mixing bowl for soil. I have some African violet potting mix left over. So I'm going to use that. And I have some cactus and succulent mix that I'm going to use. And then I have some perlite that I'm going to mix in there. Because especially since there's no drainage, we want these to be very, like, very porous. We definitely don't want, we want there to be lots and lots of air and drainage capabilities. So as I mix this up, I want to make sure that a good portion of it is perlite. We will likely do another amaryllis bulb project later in the month as amaryllis come available in the stores, because I want to make sure that I definitely get some flowers this year. It hasn't been consistent for me that my amaryllis bulbs bloom, but I have been successful at it, so here's hoping. So let's do this. So you could see that there's quite a bit of white speckle in there. That's all perlite. Okay. The bulbs, the Paperwhite bulbs do want to be buried to their neck. So I'm just going to nestle them in there. This is a bigger one. Let's see. Let's do these ones. Okay. All right. I just wanted to get it started here. So they've got a really good root system. I'm going to plant them pretty much shoulder to shoulder. What I'm looking for here is to make sure that there's no squishy bulbs, because that would indicate that they have rotted. They all feel really good and healthy. Got really nice big root systems and all healthy looking roots. So, all right. Lovely. All right, so they just look like this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and top it off with soil. Being careful not to get soil down in the neck where the growth points are, because we don't want to create any like fungal disease or growth inhibition. Okay, beautiful. Just a little bit. Make sure they're nice and snug in there. All right, we're gonna do the same thing with this container. This was an amaryllis container. They often come in containers that look like this. And we're gonna just stick these in there nice and stuck. Oh, looks like those are just going right in there, so I'm just going to add a little extra. Okay, nice and snug. Stick them down in there. Some more soil. I want to put so much soil that the water runs off. Plus, I'm going to top dress it with something pretty. Okay, Now let's go ahead and do this amaryllis bulb. You can see how well rooted in she is. I'm gonna just knock off the soil over here. Alright, so her root system looks really healthy. Her bulb feels nice and healthy. And I'm going to, looks fine there, rest of this in here. Looks like I need to mix up a little more. And out of the African violet mix, so I'm just going to use cactus. Let's use the rest of this. Pretty good. Oops. Alright, so now with my amaryllis, obviously I want to have the roots below the surface, but you don't want to bury the bulb. The bulb shoulders, which are the thickest part of the bulb, should be above the soil. So I'm just spreading her roots over the surface of the soil. And then I'm just going to sprinkle a little more right on top of her roots, but not burying the bulb. Okay. Looks pretty good. And then because these three are going to be matching this year, I'm going to go ahead and use a clear glass, where are these things? Like pebbles, to give it a little sparkle. Just top dress it with the glass pebbles. The water can go right through those pebbles, no problem. And that'll be lovely because they'll just sort of catch the sun and the sparkling lights, especially once we have Christmas lights around. Okay, beautiful. So now, let's see. Let's clean this up a little bit. All right, now I want to do these bulbs, and they're well rooted in. Okay, let's put out the trusty soil catcher for this one. So you can see how well rooted these guys got. Just gonna knock off a little bit of the soil. So I want to make sure they get plenty of new, fresh soil to feed on this year. So just gonna knock that off. You can see the white roots are fleshy and healthy. These are happy little bulbs. Also see that they're fairly shallow rooted. I think I can get away with using this same container one more year, and then I'll have to look at another option. Amaryllis tend to grow in clumps in the wild. They like to be in a community, so putting them in tight quarters together is a good idea. You can see this mama is very happy. She's creating a baby. All right, so then is grab a coffee filter and set it over the drain hole on the bottom there. You could use a paper towel or anything like that. Put fresh soil in there. The coffee filter just makes it so all the soil doesn't fall out. Okay, so I've move these over. I filled this about halfway full of fresh soil, and I'm going to kind of spread the roots out over the container. It's okay if they sort of intermingle with one another. Trying to keep the baby sort of in the middle because I know it's going to need support as it grows. Oh, this one has a baby too. All right, all the babies in the middle. And then we do want the roots to be covered in fresh soil. Again, we want to make sure that the shoulder of each bulb is fully exposed. Do not want the bulb below the soil. So, let's try to good. Okay. Just gonna move this to the side. And I'm gonna top dress this one with some moss, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead, give it some water, grab a drip tray so it doesn't make a big mess, and we'll just give them all a good drink. Want to make sure that we're watering towards the bottom and not over the crown. We don't want any water to go down inside the stems. Go ahead and water these two. And these. Okay. All right, now I'm going to top dress this one. Oops. And just going to give it a little nest of green moss all around. Make sure that the middle is exposed so the babies have some light. Last year I made this little cloche out of red twig dogwood. It worked out really nice, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop that back in there because these leaves tend to get really big, and the flower gets really heavy, and then it needs a little more support. So just gonna these guys. It just got twisted. Here we go. Little extra support. There we go. Okay, very good. All right, so I'll place all of these in a bright sunny location and we'll watch them grow. It'll be really fun to see how they do this year. And of course, if I find more amaryllis that I have to have, I'll share that with you when I repot them. I know that I want to buy a charisma amaryllis, but I can't usually get my hands on them. And when they are available, like in the summer, I keep forgetting about them because this is the time of year I think about my amaryllis. So anyways, I hope that you are enjoying your life, celebrating your life. If you're celebrating this holiday season, I hope that you are having a ton of fun and connecting with your loved ones. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.